Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and agenda-setting meeting for Thursday, August 8th, 2024. It is approximately 7 p.m. Before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're also going to have a moment of silence. I'm sad to report that since our last meeting, we lost one of our municipal employees, Bill DeAndres. Bill was the foreman in Public Works for the mechanics, and he lost a battle with cancer. So Bill was a great guy, and his daughter Sarah, college age, she is a current summer helper over the summer here at the municipality. Wonderful family, but if we please keep Bill in our hearts and in our prayers and his family during this moment of silence. So please, if you could rise for that moment of silence with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Nick.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Griesbach?
Here.
Mr. Hizzy?
Here.
Mr. Poach?
Here.
Mr. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Crut?
Here.
Mr. Adams? Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Biondo?
Here.
Mr. Graziani?
Here.
Mr. Ratcher?
Here.
Ms. Rock?
Here.
Mr. Hugus?
Here.
Mr. Sedlak?
Here.
Mr. Weldon?
Here.
Welcome. We're going to start this meeting with our Citizens Night. This would be a moment for any citizen or taxpayer to address council on any municipal matter. We always ask to keep the comment period to 5 minutes. So if there's anyone from in the audience who'd like to address council on any municipal matter, now would be your time to do so.
Mr. Serafini.
Thank you. My name is Robert Serafini. I'm a Monroeville resident for almost 40 years now. The reason I'm standing here tonight, I don't have anything I want to say, except I'd like to hear from you people. Can you tell me what's going on with the hotel here? They put it in the paper, I've heard conflicting stories, and I'd like to see what someone here can tell me that might be along the same lines as I've heard. I'll start with anybody who wants to talk to me about it.
Bob, at this point, nothing is official, and as soon as we know what's official, we'll report that.
Nothing official at all.
I think we can say that it's under an agreement, but that agreement is subject to certain contingencies being met, so it may or may not come to fruition that it's a sale.
Well, would you explain that for me, please?
Yeah, and you're probably familiar with the process.
Yes.
When you negotiate a sales agreement if you want to buy a particular piece of property, and then you have in there inspection periods and other due diligence that you can do, and as a result of that, you may go forward with the sale, and you may pull out and say, well, we're not interested, and so.
Could you tell me who those are interested?
My understanding is Grace Life Church is or some entity controlled by them is the party who has the hotel under agreement right now.
Okay, and what is the thing that's holding everything up, or what's in consideration?
I don't know that. They're going through their due diligence in the sale, and that's really all.
In other words, I've heard about 30 different stories, and any one of them could be true, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've probably heard 40 different stories, and honestly,
You're up on me.
they could all be,
They'll tell us something different.
they
Yeah.
could all be true, or
That's
none of them
exactly
could
what
be
I've
true.
heard.
Yeah, until it's official, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to speculate.
Okay, just wanted to check. Thank you very much.
I'm here too about that.
Could you state your name, please?
Mike Berryman,
Thank you.
have they bought it yet? Or in the process of buying it? Or what's going on with it?
It's exactly what we just mentioned. So right now, it's not purchased.
Okay, if they come before you, that's a church, right? Is that building going to be tax exempt over there if they take it over? And what are they going to do with the building? 109, 110 rooms, 9-story high, right? Are we looking at maybe homeless? A lot of churches bring in immigrants, homeless. Anything?
We don't know that, sir. We have no idea whether they're ultimately
What
going
would
to
you
buy
do
it.
if it comes before you?
We'll evaluate it the same way we would any piece of property that's purchased by anyone from a zoning perspective. That's the control we have over things is the zoning code.
So it could be, it could be tax exempt if it goes through, let's say, right?
It could also not be tax exempt.
Right.
It's not a given.
How many stories is it?
I think it's 13. 12 or 13, I think.
Why would you let a church even buy that? Even go in there?
The municipality does not regulate the sale of land between other parties. That's unconstitutional, quite frankly. It's against the law.
Who's
We can't say-
backing them? You know who's backing them or anything?
We don't know that.
It's a co-pastor, right? 3 people.
We don't know that, sir.
Right. So Mike, if you have any comments in general about all of this, you could move on with comments. 'Cause we're not going to go back and forth with questions and answers, but if you have comments about it, feel free.
Well, my comment is, I hope you don't let them buy it, and I hope you don't let it go through, because we don't need another tax exempt building in Monroeville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'll leave the floor open for anyone else who'd like to address council on any municipal item. Seeing none, we're going to close the comment period, moving over to our agenda-setting meeting, and we are moving to a public hearing. We have a public hearing for a liquor license transfer, Plaza Azteca Monroeville Incorporated. And so, Mr. Ratcher?
Sure.
If you would, please.
Okay, this is the time and place for the public hearing for the liquor license transfer from for Plaza Azteca Monroeville, Inc. I believe the representative is here virtually. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
My name is Jonathan Jordan. I'm the attorney for the applicant, and with me is Edgar Olivares, who is one of the partners in the proposed restaurant.
Okay, could both of you take notice and be sworn in, please?
Certainly.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter, so help you God?
I
Yes.
do.
I do.
Very well. Let the record show that both parties consented. So this is a liquor license, just a little bit of background for the public. The state liquor code in Pennsylvania requires licenses that are transferred between municipalities to receive an approval from the receiving municipality. So that's the purpose of this particular one tonight. And please proceed with your presentation.
Yes, thank you. Again, I'm the attorney for Plaza Azteca Monroeville, Inc., and Plaza Azteca is based in Virginia. They have approximately 60 restaurants, mostly on the East Coast. We have 21 currently operating in Pennsylvania. We're proposing to put a new Plaza Azteca restaurant where the King's restaurant used to be at 4310 Northern Pike. And we would operate this just like all of the other Plaza Aztecas, where it's a sit-down Mexican restaurant, not much of a bar scene. The hours tend to be 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. That varies a little bit from restaurant to restaurant, but it's it's first and foremost it's a restaurant with Mexican food. There are a couple of Plaza Aztecas not terribly far from Monroeville. There's in the city of Washington, 1010 Trinity Circle. There's 3017 Jackson Road, White Oak, and 1000 Sutherland Drive, Robinson Township. And there are a couple others that we're looking at in the greater Pittsburgh area now. But we're established. We've been operating in Pennsylvania since around 2011. We've been operating in Virginia since 1995. So we have experience. The Liquor Control Board of Pennsylvania has training programs for servers and managers, which all of our people go through. And, you know, there's not really a whole lot to it. I don't know if the board has any questions of us.
Yeah, I assume it's your intent to comply with the state liquor code, which obviously preempts the locals in this area. They do allow us to pass judgment on the transfer, but, you know, the day-to-day operations are obviously within the state liquor code and their officials, and I assume it's your client's intent to abide by that code, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to maintain your license, correct?
Exactly. And we wouldn't have been able to maintain the 21 or so licenses that we currently have in Pennsylvania, you know, if we didn't do that. So that's for sure. Our reputation is important to us. And as a matter of fact, this intermunicipal step in the process is just the first step. We then, if we get approved by you all, we have to go through a process with the Liquor Control Board that takes several months, and they do in-depth investigations of you know, all the people involved and you know, everything. So it's quite a gauntlet that we have to go through, and this is just the first step. I mean, basically the purpose of this hearing from a statutory perspective is to, you know, make sure that the impact that we would have at this location isn't greater than a typical restaurant in the same part of the township or municipality. And you know, really, in my opinion anyway, these hearings are, you know, to protect people in a residential neighborhood that you're going to put a dive bar there that, you know, potentially serves shots and hard alcohol late into the night and in an area where there's people living. And, you know, in this particular case, we're in a commercial area, so we don't anticipate having any impact on the community with this.
Do any members of council have any questions for the applicant or his counsel?
Yes,
Mr. Stevenson?
you stated that it's going to take months to go through this process. Is the restaurant going to be open during that without serving alcohol?
Our current plan is to not open until we have the liquor license.
Okay.
And I mean, it could take a few months. It could take probably 45 to 60 days. It's just kind of luck of the draw, you know, who we get and what their workload is like, and, you know, those sort of things. But anyway, getting back to your question, I spoke with the client today, and as of today, their intent is to not open until they have a liquor license.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions, council? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask a question or give any kind of testimony?
Tell them to hurry up, they've got good food.
Let the record show that none came forward, notwithstanding gentleman's comment. Council, anything else?
No, so there is make a motion to close the public hearing.
Yeah, just to advise you, and you're probably aware of the process, the meeting is this Tuesday, the 13th, at which time council will formally vote on the application that's before them. If you have no more
Okay, should we
questions of
be-
us, we're going to close the meeting.
Should we be part of that meeting, or do you need us to participate in that meeting on the 13th?
Really, the record's complete at this time for the public hearing, so there's no
Okay.
need to appear in order to do that, even
Yeah.
virtually. Yeah.
I don't believe that is necessary. I think you provided all the information for council to make a decision next Tuesday. So whether you're signing in or not on Tuesday, that won't impact the decision whatsoever.
Motion to
Okay, I
adjourn.
appreciate that. We actually are getting approved Tuesday for a new restaurant in New Jersey, and so I have to be in New Jersey on Tuesday evening. So that works out well for me.
No
To
problem.
not have to participate.
Motion
Okay,
to adjourn.
Thank you very much.
There's a motion to adjourn
Thank you.
Hearing.
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a
you.
good evening.
Good luck with your project.
Okay.
Council, moving through the agenda here, our executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session this evening, Thursday, August 8th, from 6:30 PM to 7 PM for matters pertaining to legal, personnel, and/or real estate. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at next Tuesday's August 13th council meeting at 7 PM. Council, moving down to the minutes, what we will consider for next Tuesday will be the minutes of Citizens Night, July 2nd, 2024, the council agenda-setting meeting of July 2nd of 2024, and the regular council meeting of July 9th, 2024. Any questions or comments about those minutes? Very good. The reports of the tax collections. Does anyone have any questions or comments about those tax collections, council? Hearing none, moving on. List of bills and budget transfers. Council, any comments, questions?
Nope.
Very good. Payroll report, questions or comments, council? Very good. And all those items will be considered and voted on at Tuesday's August 13th council meeting. Moving to our consent agenda, resolutions. We have 4 to consider for this month. Mr. Graziani, first resolution, please.
First resolution is a resolution approving the transfer of a restaurant liquor license number R-21183 into the Municipality of Monroeville for Plaza Azteca Monroeville, Inc., located at 4310 Northern Pike.
Very good. Next resolution.
Second resolution is one you do on an annual basis, and it relates to disposing of records. Of course, the resolution is for approving the disposition of records as set forth in the Municipal Records Manual as established by the Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Commission and legislation.
Questions or comments, council? Hearing none. Next resolution, please.
It's a resolution ratifying the execution of an agreement of purchase and sale between the Municipality of Monroeville and L&M Associates for the acquisition of the Monroeville Convention Center, and further authorizing the proper officials to execute such further documents as may be necessary to consummate said acquisition.
Questions or comments? Next resolution, please.
This would be a resolution declaring the municipality's intent to reimburse expenditures to be incurred with respect to the acquisition of the Monroeville Convention Center with proceeds of debt.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, moving forward to our reports of municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, anything this evening?
I have nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Graziani? Back
I will
to you.
be submitting a report for next week's meeting, but just I want to praise the Public Works Department, particularly, I don't know how they're doing it, but they've done batting cages, pickleball courts, tennis courts, basketball courts, paving programs underway, full swing. The staff is doing an amazing job. Nick over at the public, at the parks and how he's leading his crew, Sean Jesse, you can see them doing work out here. Now, they're going above and beyond. I think the restoration and landscaping is going to be excellent, and their waterproofing efforts for this building. Jamie's story and the paving program, as you can see, it's happening all over, the community. So just very thankful. This is this time of year, I guess, make hay while the sun is shining, and our Public Works Department certainly doing it. I'm very appreciative of that.
Thank you. We'll pass it on.
Very good. Anything else for this evening, Mr. Graziani? Very good. Mr. Hugus? Anything else? Okay, thank you. Ms. Rock?
Nothing tonight.
Very good. Moving to our reports of council members.
Nothing,
Mr.
Mayor.
Izzy. Mr. Poach?
Just one thing real quickly. Our sympathies to the Reed family. Just recently, the first fire chief I ever had, actually, passed away, Don Reed, and he had a very significant contribution to the fire service for us here in Monroeville. He was probably the last of the group. We had two of that group passed away this year. Marshall Boone was one of the other ones, too, that started the close cooperation and set those precedents between the municipality and the fire companies, too. It was just one of those reasonable, sensible guys that we dealt with for a long, long time, and a good leader and stuff, too. So our sympathies to the rest of their family, and recognize Dawn's contribution. But that's all for right now.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Stevenson?
Jared, if you would, please. I want to condemn our manager for stealing some of my thunder.
You're condemning
I
it?
attended a pickleball court opening yesterday at 9 a.m. And we had probably 100 people there. And the courts are beautiful. I want to
There's my
take
wife
a
right
moment to thank Public Works for
Speaking of my
everything
wife.
they did to make that happen, and they did a lot. And also the whole, not the library, but the whole Parks Department that put in the effort and spent the time to make that a really decent function for that specific endeavor. So thank both of you, Parks and Public Works, for everything you did to make that a really decent function. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Crook.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Had some phone calls, people wonder why they put slots in a perfectly new highway. Those slots are for expansion. They continue to finish up 22, and it's going to be a great highway for many years to come. That's all I have.
Mr. Biondo, please. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, just want to kind of piggyback off of what Mr. Graziani and Mr. Stevenson said. The pickleball courts look great. Great job, Public Works. They're open now, everybody, so it took us some time, but they are open and they look great. And I also want to pass along condolences to the DeAndres family, and that's all I have.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Biondo. A couple events coming up. Library Fun Fest is Saturday, August 24th from 12 to 4 p.m. And the Monroeville Jazz Festival, Saturday, August 31st from 12 to 8 p.m. at the Tall Trees Amphitheater at the community park. And yes, Mr. Stevenson and Mr. Graziani, thank you for bringing it up about the courts and all the work the Public Works has been doing over there. Everything looks great. And they're really, really well received and getting a lot of use, and it's a very positive thing for Monroeville. And as we mentioned earlier about Bill DeAndres, the DeAndres family, the Reed family, and unfortunately also Scotty Williams, who is a longtime school director through Gateway School District. We lost him this past month as well. So please keep all those families in your prayers, and we appreciate all of their contributions to the community. With that, I want to seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.